Deep in the heart of the Cascade Mountains lies Index, Washington, a forgotten mining town where the past refuses to stay buried. Welcome to the Bush House Inn, a place where miners once chased dreams of gold, and where some never left. From phantom footsteps to shadowy figures in the halls, the spirits of this historic inn have stories to tell, and they're waiting for you. Join us as we uncover the chilling tales of old Tom, Eliza, and the restless souls still trapped in these walls. This is The Haunting of Bush House Inn. If you're ready to dive into the paranormal, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to join our community of thrill seekers. Like this video to show the ghosts you're not afraid. Comment below with your own spooky experiences and share this with your friends, because nothing says bonding like a good ghost story. Let's step into the shadows together. Deep in the misty, rugged mountains of Index, Washington, the Bush House Inn stands as a haunting relic of a bygone era. Once the beating heart of a thriving mining town, this historic inn now echoes with eerie whispers from its past. In the late 1800s, miners and dreamers filled its rooms, chasing fortunes in the Cascade Mountains. But not all who came left, and some say their restless spirits linger still. Guests at the Bush House often speak of strange happenings that defy explanation. Floorboards creak under invisible footsteps in the dead of night. Faint murmurs drift through the halls, as if long-dead miners are still swapping stories of strikes and sorrows. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures, fleeting glimpses of men in tattered work clothes, or a woman in a faded dress standing silently in doorways before vanishing into the ether. The inn's remote location, nestled in the ghostly quiet of a near-abandoned town, only deepens the sense of unease. Locals whisper of tragedies that stained the inn's history. Miners lost to cave-ins, broken dreams, and untimely deaths. The air feels heavy with their unresolved stories, and the Bush House seems to hold on to them, reluctant to let go. For those brave enough to spend the night, the inn offers more than just a bed. It's a doorway to the past, where the line between the living and the dead blurs in the mountain shadows. The Bush House Inn, perched in the ghostly hush of Index, Washington, feels like a place where time forgot to move on. Its weathered wooden walls, creaking under the weight of a century's secrets, hold stories of the miners who once filled its rooms with laughter, desperation, and dreams of striking it rich in the Cascade Mountains. Back in the late 1800s, Index was a bustling hub, its mines promising gold and glory. The inn was the heart of it all, a place for weary men to rest, swap tales, and drown their sorrows in whiskey. But the mountains were unforgiving, and not everyone left Index alive. Some say those lost souls never left the Bush House at all. At night, when the wind howls through the pines, and the moon casts long shadows across the inn's sagging porch, the air grows thick with unease. Guests have woken to the sound of heavy boots pacing the hallways, only to find no one there. Others report a chill that seeps into their bones, even with the fire roaring, as if someone or something is watching from the corner of the room. One traveler swore they saw a man in a tattered miner's coat, his face gaunt and hollow, staring out a window before dissolving into the darkness. Another guest, a skeptic by nature, fled in the middle of the night after hearing a woman's soft sobbing from the empty room next door, her cries mingling with the distant clink of a pickaxe that no living hand could wield. The locals don't shy away from the stories. They'll tell you about the mine collapses that claimed lives, the feuds that ended in blood, and the heartbroken who simply vanished into the wilderness. One tale speaks of a young bride who waited at the inn for her miner husband, only to learn he'd perished in a cave-in. Her grief-soaked spirit is said to wander the second floor, her faint perfume lingering in the air. The inn's guest book is filled with accounts of flickering flickering lights, doors that lock themselves, and whispers that seem to call your name when you're alone. For thrill seekers and history buffs alike, the Bush House Inn isn't just a place to stay. It's a journey into the unknown. Its remote setting, far from city lights and modern comforts, amplifies every creak and shadow, making you question what's real and what's not. If you dare to book a room, don't be surprised if the past reaches out to greet you. In Index, the ghosts of the Bush House are always awake, and they've got stories they're dying to share.
The Bush House Inn in Index, Washington seems to cling to the edge of the world. Its weathered facade, a silent witness to the dreams and despair of a forgotten mining boom. Tucked deep in the Cascade Mountains, where fog twists through ancient pines and the North Fork Snohomish River murmurs secrets, the inn feels alive with the weight of its history. In its heyday, the 1890s, the Bush House was a beacon for roughneck miners, starry-eyed prospectors, and wanderers chasing the promise of gold. They'd crowd the dining hall, their voices thick with hope or drowned in whiskey, while the clatter of tin cups and the crackle of the hearth filled the air. But the mines were cruel, and the mountains claimed their toll. Cave-ins, betrayal, and broken hearts left scars that never fully healed. Those scars, some say, are why the inn never feels truly empty. As night falls, the Bush House takes on a life of its own. The flickering glow of lanterns casts eerie shapes on the walls, and the silence is anything but quiet. Guests have reported waking to the sound of a distant hammer striking stone, rhythmic and relentless, as if a miner is still toiling deep underground. Others have felt an unseen hand brush their shoulder in the narrow stairwell, only to turn and find nothing but cold air.
One couple visiting from Seattle described a chilling encounter. Their door rattled violently at 3 a.m., but when they mustered the courage to open it, the hallway was deserted, save for a faint trail of muddy boot prints that vanished at the wall. Another guest, a photographer drawn to Index's ghostly lore, captured an image of what looked like a woman in a high-necked dress standing by the inn's old piano, except no one had been there when the shutter clicked. The townsfolk of Index, now a sparse handful compared to the boomtown days, speak of the inn with a mix of pride and unease. They'll tell you about Old Tom, a grizzled miner who lost his life in a dynamite blast and is said to haunt the bar, his spectral glass clinking against the counter when the clock strikes midnight. Or there's the story of Eliza, the bride who waited in vain for her love, her sorrow so deep it's etched into the inn's very bones. Guests have reported glimpsing her pale figure in the upstairs windows, her gaze fixed on the mountains, as if still watching for her man to come home. The innkeepers, used to these tales, keep a weathered journal where visitors log their encounters, pages filled with stories of cold spots, whispered names, and objects that move when no one's looking. For those who visit, the Bush House Inn offers more than a night's rest. It's a plunge into a world where the past refuses to stay buried. The isolation of Index, with its crumbling remnants of a once thriving town, only heightens the sense that you're not alone. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of the lights, feels like a message from those who never left. If you're bold enough to stay, bring a flashlight and an open mind. You might just meet the ghosts of the Bush House, still tethered to their dreams, their losses, and the mountains that claimed them. The Bush House Inn in Index, Washington, stands like a sentinel frozen in time, its sagging eaves and peeling paint whispering of a wilder, rougher era. Nestled in the shadow of the Cascade Mountains, where the air is thick with the scent of pine and the ghosts of ambition, the inn is more than a relic. It's a living archive of the souls who passed through during the 1890s mining boom. Back then, the Bush House was the pulse of Index, a ramshackle haven where miners, drifters, and fortune seekers gathered under its roof. Their laughter and fights filled the saloon, while the promise of gold hung heavy in the air. But the mines were merciless. Collapses buried men alive, feuds turned deadly, and dreams crumbled faster than the ore. Those tragedies left echoes, and the inn, like the mountains around it, holds tight to its dead. When darkness blankets Index, the Bush House Inn wakes up. The old oak staircase groans under phantom footsteps, slow and deliberate, as if someone is pacing the halls, searching for something lost. Guests have reported their breath catching in their throats as an icy draft sweeps through locked rooms, carrying the faint metallic tang of the mines. One trucker passing through on a rainy night swore he heard a gravelly voice humming a mournful tune outside his window, only to see nothing but mist when he dared to look. Another visitor, a writer seeking inspiration, woke to the sensation of fingers brushing her hair, yet she was alone, or so she thought. Her journal entry, now part of the inn's growing legend, described a fleeting glimpse of a man in suspenders, his face smudged with coal, standing at the foot of her bed before fading into the wallpaper. The locals, a tight-knit crew who've grown up with Index's ghosts, share stories over coffee at the general store, their voices low, as if the spirits might overhear. They talk of old Tom, the miner whose life ended in a fiery blast, now doomed to haunt the inn's bar, where glasses sometimes slide across the counter untouched. Then there's Eliza, the bride whose heart broke when her fiancé never returned from the mines. Her presence is strongest in room 6, where guests report their blankets tugged off in the night, or catch the scent of lavender perfume that lingers only for a moment. Some say the piano in the dining room plays a single mournful note when no one's near, as if Eliza's still mourning her lost love. The innkeepers, pragmatic but not dismissive, point to the guest book, its pages crammed with tales of flickering lamps, doors that refuse to stay shut, and whispers that seem to plead, stay. For Americans drawn to the eerie and the historic, the Bush House Inn is a must-visit, a place where the line between now and then blurs. Index itself feels like a ghost town, its handful of residents dwarfed by the towering peaks and the memories they hold. Staying at the inn isn't just a getaway. It's a dare to face the unknown. Every squeak of the floor, every shadow that dances in the corner of your eye, feels like an invitation from the past. Book a room if you've got the nerve, but don't expect to sleep easy. The ghosts of the Bush House are restless, and they've been waiting a long time to tell their story. The Bush House Inn looms over Index, Washington, like a weathered tombstone, its faded clapboard walls and crooked shutters a testament to a time when hope and heartbreak were carved into the Cascade Mountains. In the 1890s, this was no quiet retreat, but a raucous crossroads for men hardened by the mines and women who dared to dream alongside them. The saloon rang with the clink of glasses and the roar of arguments, while upstairs, in cramped rooms lit by flickering oil lamps, plans were whispered for the next big strike. But the mountains gave as much as they took. Cave-ins swallowed whole crews, bitter winters claimed the weak, and rivalries ended in blood-soaked dust. Those who survived carried their grief, and those who didn't, well, the Bush House Inn became their eternal refuge, a place where the dead still linger, bound by unfinished business. As the sun dips below the jagged peaks, the inn seems to draw a breath, its timbers creaking like an old man stirring from a long sleep. Guests who dare to stay often feel it, a shift in the air, a heaviness that settles over the heart. The old oak staircase, worn smooth by countless boots, groans under footsteps that no living soul makes, each step deliberate, as if searching for a lost claim or a forgotten promise. One hiker, bone-tired from the trails, recounted a night when her locked door rattled so fiercely she thought someone was breaking in, only to find the hallway empty, save for a faint smear of soot on the floor that wasn't there before. Another guest, a history teacher from Spokane, woke to the sound of a child's laughter, bright and fleeting, only to learn the inn hadn't housed children in decades. His flashlight caught a glimpse of a small figure darting past the mirror, gone before he could blink. The people of Index, their numbers dwindled to a stubborn few, treat the inn's hauntings like an old family secret, spoken of with a mix of reverence and caution. Over mugs of bitter coffee at the general store, they'll tell you about old Tom, the grizzled miner whose life ended in a dynamite blast that shook the valley. His spirit favors the bar, where bottles tip over on still nights and the faint scent of tobacco lingers, though no one smoked there in years. Then there's Eliza, the bride who waited in room 6, her eyes fixed on the mountain pass mass for a man who'd never return. Guests in her room swear they felt their bed shake gently, as if nudged by an unseen hand, or caught a whiff of lavender so strong it stopped them cold.